Hey everybody, it's Reckless. So in this video, I'll be giving you guys an update on the custom enthusiast PC that I built. I will be going over the components, all that wonderfulness, and I will also be going over what I want to change for the future. So let's get to it.
So here she is, my beautiful machine that I put together. Now we're actually going to go through all these components as quickly and as painless as possible. So let's get started on that. First off, this is a Corsair 900D, and we're going to go over the little features on it real quick. It is a full tower case, and the little front panel of it has your microphone, headset, two USB 3s, your power and reset buttons, and then 4 USB 2s. This is an extremely huge case and it looks beautiful. Now, as for components, we'll start off with the motherboard. It is an ASUS ROG Rampage 5 Extreme motherboard, which is on the X99. We have two ASUS reference cards. They are both GTX 980s. We also have an ASUS ROG SLI bridge. That is actually a three-way bridge, and apparently on these boards you need to get a three-way. Next we have, going into the front, is an ASUS ROG front base panel, and that's going to control your fans and overclocks and all that wonderfulness if you want it to. You don't have to. Truthfully, I got mine for looks. We also have an ASUS Blu-ray player. That is a Blu-ray rewritable 16x. It plays Blu-rays, CDs, DVDs, and obviously the such. I still have an optical drive, yes. I have a whole bunch of Marvel movies that I have all in Blu-ray, so obviously watch those on my computer or my PlayStation 4, but I like watching on my computer. Let's see, next, for Intel. You can't see it because it's covered by the water block, but I am running an Intel i7 5820K processor that runs at 3.3 megahertz. As for my boot drive, we're going to come down here, get a little better look at it. I am running an Intel 750 series PCI-E SSD, and that SSD, well, this one specifically is a 400 gig. Intel came out with an 800 not too long ago, and also when the 400 actually was released, they also came out with a 1.2 terabyte. Now that is my boot drive, and it has all my programs on it. But anything that I save actually comes to my hard drive, which is a Western Digital Purple. Now I understand what you're going to say. A lot of people are going to be like, "Why purple? It's purple surveillance." However, at the time of putting this together, purple ran faster than green, but I didn't want to spend the extra money on black. But that's all going to change as soon as I put all together the changes that I actually want to make for my build. And we'll see how that goes. So next, RAM. We have Evixor Core Series LED DDR4, and that is actually running at 2133. As for all the fans that I have in here, all those wonderful case fans, there are altogether 16 Enermax TB Vegas fans, and those are singles. Oops, that actually came out of focus. And those are all singles. I have 4 white ones, and then 4 white ones and then 12 red ones. We got 3 red ones up top, 4 on bottom, 2 in the back, and then coming over to the front, we also have those 3. Let's keep this front plate off real quick. As for the water cooling, I'm actually using 2 ASUS GTX 980 reference water blocks by Coolants. The CPU block is also by Coolants. The video bridge connector that I have on the Waterbox, obviously coolants. I like uniformity, so I like keeping all the water blocks and stuff together the same. It works better. As for the rads, or other people know them as radiators, but yeah, rads for short. I have two Watercooled XT45 full copper radiators. Both of them are for 120 millimeter fans. The bottom rad is a 480. Get a better look on that. And the top rad is a 360. Now, like I said before, I will be making a lot of changes to this. At the time, I really didn't want, two 480 rads. I figured, a 480 and a 360 would be perfectly fine, but that decision has changed. As for the res, we have a Frozen Q Nova Core Extreme Limited Edition Reservoir. Now, they say limited edition, but when I bought this, it was like a year and a half ago. And if you go on Frozen Q now, if you go on Frozen now, they still have it there. So I really don't see how much limited edition it was. Guess nobody wants it. As for the power supply, we have a Corsair AX1200i, and obviously I have matching red, white, and black modular cables, and they look amazing. I also have a SwiftTech 8-way PMW splitter. I actually have two of those in the back to actually house all these fans. And as for the water cooling itself, I did not do this. Oh, let me phrase this. The water cooling loop. I did not do this. I actually had Main Gear do this for me. They did an amazing job of this. They got the little D5 pump at the bottom. Coming back. They actually split the water that's going to the CPU and the GPUs. So obviously they don't share the same, well, they share the same water, but they don't have the same paths to those components, which definitely helps dissipate the heat in the water. So yeah, this thing's pretty badass. I understand, kind of a little bit overkill. They did mine set up a little bit different than what they normally do because of the components. But we also have a drain port back there. So if I wanted to, I can take this part off and just drain it from back here. It's pretty cool. As I said, they had to do mine a little bit different than what they normally do because of the components that I chose to actually use. But they still did an amazing job doing this. Take one quick look at everything again. Reason being, well, we'll get into that.
So we're back. Now let's get into the actual changes I actually want to do with my system. Now, first off, anything ASUS is coming out. And reason being is I had a couple of issues with ASUS about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago. And that issue was with my Blu-ray player. It wasn't playing Blu-rays. It wasn't playing DVDs. It wasn't playing anything but CDs. So it was kind of an issue. And I didn't find out what the issue was until the day after that I tried troubleshooting this with ASUS support. Now, I actually spent about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes with ASUS support, and we got nowhere. The guy I was talking to, he didn't know, so he had to go ask his superiors, and so on and so forth, and it pretty much went up the ladder, and nobody knew what the hell was going on or how to make this thing work. Another issue that I was having with that is drivers and firmware. there's no drivers or firmware for this optical drive on their website at all, and that's an issue for me. That plus a couple of other things I was having issues with when it comes to my actual setup for the ASUS. But anyways, moving on. So ASUS is coming out, and what I did find out, though, of reason why it wasn't working is because when Windows 7 came out, Microsoft had to spend $2 each disk that went out for media. So when Windows 8 came out and 8.1, Microsoft didn't want to do that no more. And they have all the rights to it. So media wouldn't play on Windows 8 and 8.1. So kind of having a Blu-ray player was kind of pointless unless it came with a third-party software. So moving on from there, Windows 8, 8.1, and Windows 10 don't have any type of media unless the software actually came with it. Now, the case is staying the same. I'm still keeping my 900D because she looks so gorgeous and stuff. However, the first thing I want to change out is the motherboard. Getting rid of the ASUS, like I said, altogether. The motherboard, the graphics cards, the SLI bridge, the front base panel, and also, well, actually, I might keep the Blu-ray player because I got everything working now. But yeah, moving on from there. So I want to change the motherboard first. And the motherboard I actually want to put in it is, brace yourself, this is a very long name, is an MSI X99A Godlike Gaming Carbon RGB LED motherboard. Jesus, I know, that's extremely long, I'm sorry. But I want to change it to that motherboard for several reasons. It's a singular color, it's all black. Obviously, it's carbon on it. They have a couple cool new features that on it. And I'll put a link in the description below. That way you can actually go check that out yourself. But I like it, and it's RGB. So in the event that I wanted to change color schemes on the motherboard, it'd be easy. And if I have an RGB motherboard, I don't need RGB RAM. So makes it easier. Plus, the RAM that I have is actually hard to find. Like, really, really hard to find. I bought the 16 gig DDR4 from Vexer, the Core series, like I said earlier. And I can't find it again in order to upgrade to 32 gigs. So I gotta get rid of mine. And since it's not anywhere to be found, it's marketable profit. So moving on from there, the next thing I actually want to change is the processor. Currently, I own an Intel i7 5820K processor that has 6 cores. I want to upgrade that to an i7 6900K that has 8 cores. Now, Intel's coming out with their new processors, and there's 4 new ones coming out. There's one that's a 10 core, 8 core, so on and so forth down the line. Each one of them is supposed to be better, bigger and better than their obviously last series. They do this all the time. And it's reasonable, you know. So I do plan on getting the 8 cores. There's nothing I need to do that needs 10 cores at all. Because I only minimal gaming on my computer. I do mostly my video editing on my computer. So 8 cores is fine. 10 cores, kind of overkill. Like just a little bit. Even 8 cores is too much. But again, once I do get into gaming on PC more, then the 8 cores will be good. Now, going back to the RAM, I want to switch to Corsair Dominator Platinums. And I actually want to get a 32 gig kit that runs at 3200 megahertz. That process, that in conjunction with the processors, what I meant to say, will make this computer so much better. It won't stop there, though. As I did say, I did want to take out the GPUs as well. So my GTX 980s that are ASUS reference designs will be coming out. I probably will be selling those either with or without the Waterbox on them. I'm not sure. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below, and then I guess we can think of something. And I want to switch them to MSI GTX 1080 Ti's, and those are Pascal GPUs. Now, Pascal's not out yet, but it will be coming out soon. And obviously the 1080s will be coming out first, and then within, I want to say, 5 to 6 months later, the TIs will come out, or whatever these plan on calling the upgrade to the 1080s after. Now, I'll put a little thing somewhere around here, anywhere, about Pascal and what's coming after that, which is Volta. And yeah, new line of GPUs are supposed to blow the previous line out of the water. So once I get this, I guess you can say I would be future proofing my PC, just because after I get all these components, I won't be switching anything out for at least 10 good long years. So after that, another thing I want to switch out is the Western Digital purple that I have in there. Now, Western Digital doesn't make greens anymore, so I have no other option but to switch to Western Digital blacks. And I will be doing 2 6TB blacks in my system to make obviously 12 terabytes plus the 400 for my SSD. Now, the SSD is staying. I don't care what anybody says. The SSD is staying. I don't need more than 400 to run an operating system. I really don't. Like I said, my programs and operating systems are on the SSD. Everything that I save goes on the hard drives. That's all my videos, music, documents, all that stuff. All that goes on the hard drives. That way I don't have to worry about using my SSD for that. Now, the front fan controller that I have, obviously, is ASUS, so it's coming out. And I don't know. I'm going to try to look for a fan controller that has red on it. If I actually find one, the one I actually have right here is looking pretty promising. I haven't actually learned much about it yet, but I will be doing more research on it. Moving on, the Waterbox. I actually want to switch those from Coolant's Waterbox to EK Waterbox, and specifically the ones that you can see through them. That way you can actually see the liquid going through. It looks freaking awesome. So I actually want to do that for my GTX 1080 Ti's, or whatever they call them after. Again, those are the Pascal GPUs. Yeah, cosmetics is definitely going to change a lot in this. And when I actually get that those GPUs, then it's going to look awesome. Also, along with the GPUs, I do want to switch to the MSI SLI bridge versus the ASUS ROG that I have in here now. Literally anything ASUS, I'm probably going to sell. I'm sorry. I'm just getting rid of it, going towards a whole new manufacturer. I was going to say provider. Whole new manufacturer, MSI. Going to see how that works. A lot of people have been telling me MSI is good. They have not let them down. So I understand ASUS ROG is a great product too, but I can't be having like small issues that I'm having. You know, I just can't. But obviously you'll have issues with everybody. But we'll see how MSI works out for me. Now, the case fans that I have in here are Animax, but I will be switching those out. I will be going back to my BitPhoenix Spectres, BitPhoenix Spectre Pros, or the new BitPhoenix Spectre Extreme fans. These ones. But I don't know exactly which ones I want to get yet. And when I decide, I'll do an updated video. It's kind of similar like this to actually let you guys know. And then when everything is complete, I will do another video real quick. I'll probably do it at Main Gear, because I'm probably going to have them do the water cooling again, because they just need to switch out a couple of parts and all that wonderfulness. Now, besides the fans, the Frozen Q Nova Core Extreme limited edition red reservoir that I have in there, I want to switch out for a white one. Reason being is because with the white one, you'll be able to see the reservoir a lot better. The red one you can barely see at all, but all it does is just change like the little fins on the reservoir itself. Unfortunately, they don't have replacement fins to change, so I have to buy a whole new reservoir. So yeah, I'll probably be selling that too. Or I might even change it so I can put that reservoir in a different system. I don't know. We'll see. So far, that's all the changes that I want to do. I'm not really sure about anything else. If I do think of something else, I will let you guys know, or I will put it in the comments below. I'm sorry, in the description below. If you guys have any ideas on something that I should do, let me know, and I'll look into it. Oh, one more thing. The radiators. They are XT45s. I want to go a little bit slimmer on the rads. But I want a 480 on the bottom, but I also want a 480 on the top. Going back to the BitPhoenix real quick, I'm going to upgrade to 2 more fans. That way I can have a total of 18 fans in this case. Yeah, it's going to look amazing once it's done. But I guess we're going to have to see what happens in the long run. I might change things around, but as of right now, that is what I want for the system. But like I said, I might change things around, but we'll see what happens. So, with that all said, let me know what you guys think about the video in the comments below. This is Reckless. I will see you guys later. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. And also, you get hurt them back. You get killed, walk it off.